So let's talk about what happens when you take a Space Marine, fuse them together with one of the tech priests of Mars. Well, you get what is known as a tech Marine, and you could honestly make the argument that they're the most important Marines in their chapter, because they're responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of pretty much everything the Space Marines use, from their firearms and their armor all the way up to the spaceships they use. If it wasn't for the tech Marines, the attrition of warfare would grind their crusade to a screeching halt. Tech Marines are chosen because they're incredibly intelligent and really good at engineering, and thus they're sent to study under the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus. They train for around 30 years before returning to their chapter, and are placed in charge of their vast armories. Now here's the sad thing about the tech Marines. Despite their undeniable skills, the fact that without them pretty much everything the Space Marines have would fall into disrepair, it's not uncommon for their brothers not to trust them. And that's not to say that they're not held in high regard, because they're definitely considered revered members of their chapter. The problem is that the tech Marines have a joint loyalty. On one hand, they're loyal to the Emperor of Mankind and their battle brothers, but they've also sworn loyalty to the Mechanicus. That's why these guys normally display symbols of both their chapter and of the Mechanicum on their armor. Now, if you were to ever have a conversation with a tech Marine, they would tell you that their loyalty is to their chapter first and foremost. But the Space Marines remember another time when loyalty had been tested, and the events of the Horus Heresy, even though 10,000 years ago, are still fresh in their minds. So unfortunately, of no fault of their own, they're seen with mistrust. Now, these guys have an incredibly deep amount of respect for machines, viewing them almost as living people. And they may not actually be far off, considering their ability to appease and restrain machine spirits. And we'll cover those in another video, but basically the Mechanicum believes that every machine has a soul, which must be appeased through constant care and ritualistic worship. The tech Marines are really in tune with these spirits. They are able to determine their wants and needs and basically keep them happy. Or at the very least, wrestle the particularly violent ones into submission. The servo arms that a tech Marine is equipped with aren't just a tool used for repairs. On one hand, they're incredibly gentle and dexterous and can be used for repairs that human hands just weren't made for. They're also capable of ripping apart steel, so you can imagine what they would do to heretics. Tech Marines are also fully capable of using pretty much any ranged weapon they want, as having spent many solar decades within their chapter's armory has made them familiar with all of them.